I'd like to move to a roll call, please.
Councilmember Chapados?
Here.
Councilwoman Gussie?
Here.
Councilmember Manfredi?
Here.
Councilmember Smith? Councilmember Wade?
Here.
Vice Mayor Brown?
Here.
Mayor Price?
Here.
Mr. Mayor, roll call.
Great. That'll take us to item 3.1. The mayor and city council shall review items on the regular city council meeting agenda. Council, any questions at this time? Yes, Councilmember Chapados.
Mayor, I just have a desire to pull 9.7, but I want to let you know that I have the desire to pull it with the intent to move to table it. I don't really feel that we need to take action on that item tonight if we're just accepting a plan. I think the fact that we've honored the terms of the contract means that we've accepted the document. I'd really like to see economic development have a chance to vet it thoroughly, maybe come up with an implementation plan, have input from council if that's the desired approach, and then bring it back when we're actually ready to adopt something.
Okay, so there's been a request to pull 9.7. Anything else at this time? Great, saying nothing, we will move on then and go back to the work session, at which time that'll take us to item 3.2. This is to hear reports for meetings and or conferences attended by you all at this time. Anyone like to speak? Yes, Councilmember Wade.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Excuse me, appreciate it, thank you. I just wanted to talk about the senior MUSD Senior Scholarship Awards night that the students raised almost $7 million, which is almost double what they did last year. So it's incredible. I think it's 174 students and about $7 million. So it's incredible watching those young people get presented. Also attended the MUSD school board meeting, and they did some presentations to some of the young men who came in, took state in high jump, as well as won fourth place in high jump as well. And then I mentioned the wrestler that was a state wrestler. So had some pretty good, some athletes coming forth this past week as well. State of Arizona Commission on African American Affairs held their quarterly meeting here at they had the executive meeting in our executive conference room and then held a town hall at Copper Sky. The comment from them was Maricopa was exactly the template that they'd like to use when they go to other communities to talk about what's going on in the city, because people were there, they were responsive, they asked questions, they participated. So they were very pleased with that. And it looks as though their recommendation is to go to the governor and have the governor come through and visit Maricopa based on what they saw. So we may be seeing that happening here very shortly. And then the councilman on the corner, we had a conversation on prostate cancer, and Dr. Roscoe Nelson is a renowned urologist, came forth and presented, and we had a good turnout there at Honeycutt Coffee. The management or the owners of Honeycutt Coffee gave free coffee for the first cup of coffee that you had. So if you wanted some coffee, you missed out on that one. But it was good. It had a good turnout, good vibe. And Catherine also came and talked about things the city is doing in terms of wellness and staying well, if you will. And then finally, the MUSD had a day of music on Saturday at the PAC, so they had choirs, orchestras, bands, and the whole bit. It's about from about 8 hours, started at 1 o'clock, ran to about 8:30. You know, so it was, but it was very well attended and a lot of enthusiasm during that event as well. And then finally, celebration of Mother's Day. That was the culmination of the week. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Wade. Yes, Councilmember Chapados.
Thanks, Mayor. On May 3rd, I had the pleasure to attend the monthly board meeting for the Maricopa Flood Control District Board. Some good news there. They had a stellar year in terms of projects being fully funded and completed. Through the city manager and the mayor's office, I have extended the invitation for them to come and do an update for us at a future work session so we can hear what projects that they've looked at and also kind of get an idea of what they're looking at for next year. The good news was at very preliminary discussions about their budget for next year, they're not anticipating any increase in taxes. So that's always good news. I also that night attended the last session of the Maricopa Citizens Leadership Academy. It was focused on police and fire. Our police and fire departments always do a bang-up, literally and figuratively job, and it was a very nice way to end that session. On the 9th, I was part of the special meeting that we had to discuss the Economic Development Strategic Plan, so we're going to be hearing more on that. And then also I want to remind everybody that on Friday the 26th, a week from this coming Friday, we've got two really dynamic events going on that same night. Game night from 6:30 to 9 at Copper Sky in the activity room, and also our fire department is doing a water safety day. So they always do some great demonstrations and great activities for the kids and for families, so I want to make sure everybody's aware of that. That's it for me, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone else at this time?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to shout out kudos to my colleague, Councilman Wade, who hosted both the events he had mentioned. The Commission on African American Affairs, which was held at Copper Sky, well attended, and hopefully the editor and publisher of the Arizona Informant will be able to convince our governor to attend some of the issues that affect African Americans in this state. Secondly, the council in the corner was excellent presentation by Dr. Nelson, and I would recommend any male of any ethnicity, age 50 and older, should certainly regularly have his PSA checked and attend to those issues. It's a very important subject, and nothing to be dismissed or ignored. Prostate cancer is very prevalent with males worldwide. Kudos to you, my brother.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Councilor Wade, did you have something?
I'm sorry, I didn't want to be remiss in not also informing you that the Cultural Awareness Advisory Committee met actually the same night as the town hall, and they selected Ms. Joanna Vanderpool as their chair. Okay.
Wonderful. Anyone else at this time? Seeing no one, we will move to E-session. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.